Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Trump and Zelensky met in New York City, right after Trump's speech. I will give you the very dangerous but revealing statements coming from Trump, who answered questions. And then I will give you my assessment of this. I can tell you from the get-go the following. The war against Russia, therefore against BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the other club, will continue until one side drops dead. That's the conclusion of this. Trump is owned. You can't just meet with Zelensky and come out and say what he has to say here. Well, let's start with the beginning. Associated Press. Trump says he now believes Ukraine can win back all territories lost to Russia with NATO's help. Why now? Why now? You met this rat and now you know. What convinced Donald Trump? Do you think that Zelensky's charm, bazaar style, changed Trump's opinion on the spot during the conversation with Zelensky for, 20, 40 minutes? Is that what you think? My friends, he believes that. All right. How do you think he could achieve that? Well, I'll tell you how. The Ukrainian nation will fight, continue to fight. The American arms manufacturing are going to send them weapons. The Europeans, imbeciles, will pay for the weapons, will give the Ukrainians to die, and we'll see when this happens. And maybe in the meantime, there's going to be a mistake where one air defense system will destroy one airplane somewhere. I don't know yet if it's going to be NATO hitting the Russians or the Russians hitting NATO. And then we are at war. That would be, and that would go until these guys profit forever. Remember George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984, The Forever War? We're there. We are there. So Zelensky changed his stance in one meeting. Trump is owned. Trump doesn't work for us. All right, let's go to the next one. This comes from the Ukrainians. Ukraine can fully liberate its territory, Trump says. Okay. In a sudden reversal of his usual pro-Russian rhetoric, US President Donald Trump said Ukraine can fight and win all its sovereign territory currently under Russian occupation. And this is what he says. After getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, when? You learned it yesterday? And after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union money, is in a position to fight and win all of the Ukraine back in its original form, the message said. So what if the Russians at one point, if they lose, they will drop a nuclear bomb on Poland? What do you think will happen? Do you think the Americans will retaliate with the same level? How can you win against nuclear power? Unless you think they will not use it. Are you certain the Russians will not use it? And this is a thing that a friend of mine said to me a minute ago. And it was said that, well, that will piss off Putin. It will not piss off any Russians in the leadership. They have no illusions with the West. Everything the Russians did and the way they behave with the West, and Trump behaved like, we know what you're going to do. We don't trust anything you say. Anything. There you have it. Lavrov said, no, you have to do it, not to talk. So for the Russians, this is not a surprise. It's just as, okay, it is the 23rd of September. Oh, now they decided to do it. Now they decided to do it. And I'm glad. I'm glad the Russians, who are our enemies, so we're supposed to hate, have no illusions with a lying West. Why lying West? They lied a lot. Next one. Trump changes rhetoric on Ukraine conflict. Kiev can still prevail against Moscow, the American president has claimed. You got it? There you have it. However, in Truth's social post on Tuesday following a meeting with Zelensky, Trump claimed that he believes Kiev is in a position to fight and win in all of Ukraine's back. You got it? Supply weapons to NATO, that's the United States of America, with the Europeans paying for it, and the Americans and the Ukrainians dying. Right? And he says that, what? Right there. NATO states can shoot down Russian planes. Trump. The US president has responded to alleged airspace violation over bloc member Estonia. This is what he said. US President Donald Trump has replied affirmatively when asked if NATO states should shoot down Russian aircraft that breach their airspace. The US president said, yes, I do. Got it? Yes, I do. So let's say tomorrow there's some drones coming, let's say in Poland. Let's say they're Russian drones. And these guys shoot the Russian drones. Okay, the Russians will say, okay, good. What's next? What do you think NATO will do next? Shoot Russian missiles and drones over Ukraine? The Russians already said, if you do that, we're going to hit the air defense systems or the airplanes, the airfields where the airplanes took off to shoot down our missiles or air assets that shoot over Ukraine. That is, if those were shot from Poland, we're going to shoot inside Poland their airfield where that airplane took off, Dutch plane, let's put it this way, took off and shot our missile over Ukraine. We're going to shoot the airplane if we can, and we're going to shoot the location where the airplane took off. Or if it was an air defense systems from Poland's territory shooting down our air assets attacking Ukraine, we're going to shoot that, whatever it is in Poland. Do you think they will not do that? Well, the Russians are very consistent. Do you think they're afraid? They have nuclear weapons. Why should they be afraid? We all go to hell, man. I don't think Trump and his dynasty wants to end it like that for Ukraine. Or maybe Netanyahu is going to see Moses. Who do you think is in charge, huh? All right, let's move on. And this comes from Ukrainska Pravda. Trump says NATO should shoot down Russian violation its airspace. Okay, this is the same one from these guys. Yes, I do. There you have it. And next one. Trump calls China and India primary funders of Ukraine conflict. Now, if this is not, I don't even know what word could you find for this. What is this? First, it's a lie. Secondly, if they are doing that, then you guys are the primary funders of Ukraine conflict. Without you, the war would have ended in 2 weeks. Remember, when India and China entered the scene, you were already there providing tanks to the Ukrainians, okay? Or whatever, you had your own crews over there driving your little tanks. So this is unbelievably baboonish for the segment of the US or the West society. Yes, man, yeah, they buy the Russian oil and gas, they support the war. You provide weapons, intelligence, you have the generals planning attacks. You have the satellites. You have the Brits and the special forces. You blow up pipelines. You blow up, how do you call that? Oil, not pipelines, god damn it. Refineries. You derail trains. You attack Moscow. What are you talking about? You strike Crimea. You strike the Russian fleet with those Mugura-5, whatever, sea drones. Made by whom exactly? With whose help? Please, man, please. And he says it, China and India. China and India are with Russia. You have to fight them. No problem, they will fight it because they think that they will be the ones only hitting, not being hit back. All right, we are at war, my friends, 100%. Let's go to the next one. And this is a little timeline, a live update from the Russians. When asked about the progress, Trump, in resolving the Ukraine conflict, Trump claimed that the biggest progress is that the Russian economy is terrible right now. is crashing. But the United States is just flourishing. Although Russia's economy has shown signs of slowing down in recent months, paka, 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 paka. And here, the US president believes NATO nations should shoot down Russian military. All right. And here he says, on the circumstance. Here is the guy. You're owned, man. You're owned. You don't work for the American people. Definitely. Okay. Hungary could forgo Russian oil imports. How? I tell you to do it. And you're going to do it because their international law allows me to do that. And because every country is independent and sovereign. Sounds like right? All right. Right here. And this is very important right here, my friends. When asked whether he still trusts Russian President Vladimir Putin, Trump replied that he would give an answer in about a month. What do you think? Why do you think he said that? What I think is that he is going to he's going to start the deal, which is our arms manufacturing companies will make weapons. The European imbeciles will pay with the taxpayers' money or with the money provided by the banks with interest to the countries to buy our private companies. This is not us, man. It's the private companies that get rich. The bankers will make money as well. Weapons are made with energy. So there you have it. And these guys are going to buy these weapons and send them to Ukraine, and they will organize probably another Ramstein meeting with all the American generals telling everybody what the plan is. And they will get 100% in war in Ukraine, but you can't hit us because we are not involved. And then after a month, he's going to see and reassess the results and see how it works. And after a month, probably he's going to come, probably even sooner than that, and he's going to tell Putin, hey Putin, it hurts. And Putin said, Niet. Oh, fuck. We're going to do it more and more and more and more. That's why he said in about a month. He thinks that he's going to play games. This NATO procurement of arms through the Europeans given to the Ukrainians will work. Probably in the meantime, as I said, we're going to have a surprise attack, I don't know, on Poland. And Poland will join. Maybe the Baltic states, maybe the imbeciles in Romania will join. Not the West, not the Brits, no, not the Germans, not the French, not the Americans. No, they are the ones who see everybody else dying for their own interest. Capisci? Capisci. We are going to have a continuous war. This war will end only when one country loses badly. That is unconditional surrender. And the other one takes all. That's what's going to happen. Or there's going to be an escalation between NATO, United States of America, and, I don't know, China, maybe Russia, and these guys will use nuclear weapons. And then what? I hope you have a bunker to survive 30 more days after we all die. And then what? Who's going to work for you? AI? That's how they hope, my friends. These guys cannot even tie their fucking shoes, man, without a servant in the house. But they dictate how we live. So yes, the Russians, as my friend said, Putin is going to be upset, angry about it, we're going to have a fit. No, he's not going to have. Putin had so many moments, how many opportunities to get angry. I don't know if he got angry or not. Probably he should, but he kept it down. But he had so many reasons before, so many times to get angry, that this thing for him, I suspect, and for the Russians, as I said, it's not a surprise. This is not a surprise, man. They already know these guys are talking like this and then they do something else. It's not surprising for me. You know what? We're going to make more money. Some of us, I'll be here unless these guys are closing. I'm going to make a ton of money, man. Jesus Christ, I can't believe. I'm a war profiteer right here. Unfortunately, these guys are using lives, human beings, nations. They don't give a shit. They don't. And the moment that for me did it was when, or at least I had no more illusions on, in order to be a leader in the West, you have to be able to agree to big crimes. That's my latest conclusion. Let me turn some lights on here. So the moment was when Madeleine Albright, the Jewish State Department, whatever she was, Secretary of State, the foreign minister, when she was asked, remember, I will say this over and over again, because for me, this was the moment when I was like, whoa, 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 we're talking about children here. They talk about bring the children back from Russia. Okay, the Americans, okay? And Trump wants to start the killing in Ukraine, but not in Palestine. Nah. All right, spare me, liars, pants on, fire. All right, so Madeleine Albright was asked in an interview, you can still find it online, because the United States of America imposed sanctions on Iraq because Iraq attacked us and had weapons of mass destruction, like Cuba, all right? So he said, Madeleine Albright, the United Nations said that an estimate of about 500,000, that's what I said, 500,000. I'm getting, okay, 500,000 Iraqi children died because of the US sanctions on Iraq. And this was the question. Do you think is the price worth it? And Madeleine Albright, like an owl that she is, she said, yes, I think the price is worth it. Because they were Iraqi children and not Havanagila children. Of course. So my friends, when I heard that, I was like, for me, you, in order to be out there, you have to be able to agree to follow certain orders that would require the death of millions of people. That's exactly what's going on in Ukraine. And, you know, when they will stop in the West, these guys, the big leaders that we have, public servants, they will stop only when their personal interest is a little bit touched. A little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. Not when us, we the people are hurt. Let's say tomorrow the Russians conventionally attack US and the US attacks Russia. They will not stop. They will not, unless some of their boys, some of their wives, some of their houses, some of their palaces, something that really, some of their businesses gets blown up and they're losing something their own and they see they cannot get it back somehow, then they will talk about, hey, why don't we talk peace, Putin? If Putin is still alive, that's when they're gonna talk. Only then. I think these guys should round up the guys really in charge of Trump. I don't think Trump is by himself. I think Trump is shitless scared. That's what he is. I think Trump was shitless scared, and you can tell the name of the origin of being shitless scared. Zelensky convinced him during a conversation. I mean, before that, and then after that, why he choose now? Why did he choose to say that? And this is imbecilic. Okay, it's going to be a perpetual war. The Russians knew this, and they worked already. I think it's too late. Who's going to lose? I think you and I will lose. Who's going to win? The big industries, the big profiteers. And the obviously these leaders of ours, we need them to defend us, to protect us by waging war. I'm waiting, not that I'm waiting, but I'm predicting that the Russians will provoke NATO to see how far NATO will go. And when NATO will shoot down some Russian airplanes or something, will happen, accidents will happen. Why? False flag operations the Poles are good at, and they, together with the instigators. The instigators are this: Finland, the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and sometimes is Czech Republic. These are the big instigators. Something will happen to one of these countries. Or maybe you get Denmark as well. So something will happen and NATO will have to go 100%. And we are at war. But you know what kind of war? We hit them, they should not hit us. I guarantee you. And you know, they will be ready to reconstruct what the war destroys. Well, it's okay, my friends. As long as peace here and we're still allowed to be around, our rights and freedoms, liberties will be infringed more and more. Because if you will dare probably to say something about the truth, that will be against the law. So quickly say it now. Even now you can't tell the truth. If right now I tell you something about the Middle East, even if it's true, no, not good, man, not good. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We are at war, we'll be at war. Brace yourselves, go to work, pay your taxes, Send your children to wherever these guys decide your children to be sent to, and keep your mouth shut. Don't spread anything from the other side, because the other side is the enemy. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.